Scripture relates that man is a blind guide to his own spiritual life. So I want to look at three options you have to gain spiritual direction. And to do so, I'm going to use an analogy of a ship and a captain. You are like a ship. A ship has in its center all of the power source for that ship. This is your soul. And then the rest of the ship is made up of the body of the ship. But it relies upon the center, the power source, in order to be able to function well. And your ship needs a captain. The captain is assigned by God, given that authority over souls to direct them back safely to the harbor. Now, during our time here on earth, there are many storms, many things that come against us. And not only that, we come, as we get closer to our destination, to icebergs. All kinds of obstacles that come in the way that need to be navigated through. You need to trust the captain that he is going to be able to bring you safely to the harbor. Now, the captain is using as a map the gospel and all that the church teaches to guide you safely. And he has what you do not have. He can see out the front. You can't see out the front. So as a captain is navigating through these waters, there is going to be damage done to the vessel. And it's going to affect your soul. When water rushes in, it always comes to the bottom of the ship. And because of that, it comes in and it destroys the mechanics of the internal mechanisms of the church. Again, these things from the world come in and they destroy your spiritual life. They destroy the powers of your soul. And you start to see that you list to one side or the other. You start to sink. You start to feel this. And maybe you panic, maybe you don't. But the captain is well aware of this if you are under spiritual direction. And as we are trying to navigate through all of these obstacles, the winds of heresy coming against us, the obstacles of the icebergs like baptism of blood and desire and sedevacantism, it causes damage to the soul of those who we are trying to guide. So it is important that the captain have the ability to repair, to redeem that damage, to keep you afloat and bring you back into balance again. As we're trying to navigate through these waters, we get a knock on the door. And you come to us and you say, I was in my cabin reading a book and I found in the 1800s that they dictated that this particular kind of china from this particular maker be used. And I noticed the china you use is not of this brand. And because a captain has to be a level-headed and patient man, he doesn't scream at you. Are you joking? Do you realize how much focus I have to keep this vessel, your soul and your body, on course? And you're worried about the china. Or I get another knock. And you say, I just want to point out to you that the paint here on the deck is starting to peel a little bit. You need to take care of these kinds of things. Do you realize that there are massive holes in the bottom of the ship? Do you realize how you are about to sink? Do you realize any of these things? I do, but you may not. Or again, I get a knock on the door. I heard that announcement you made. You know what? You're scaring me. You're making me feel really uncomfortable right now. Well, I'm sorry. I'm telling you that there are holes in the hull and that we're sinking, but don't worry. We're going to fix it. And who's going to fix it? You are. So put your books down, get out of the lounge, get downstairs, follow instructions, and fix what God has given to you to fix. Follow the instruction, but you have to do it. You have to work at it. Now that's one scenario. That's a Catholic spiritual director. But then there are also the other schools that say, what we will do is come aboard our ship, let us captain your soul, and we will avoid all of those. We'll go off course, avoid all the obstacles, so that you can sit in the lounge all day and drink cognac and smoke fine cigars and discuss the cognac and the fine cigars, with your legs crossed, all relaxed, because see, in this ship, there are no difficulties. He's avoided the storm. They have directed us away from it. They direct us away from the icebergs. And everything is wonderful and beautiful. The problem is, you're off course. And if you're off course, you're not going to get to the destination of the harbor, which is the beatific vision. You must stay on course according to the gospel and be led and guided according to the gospel. But then there's another school of spiritual directors out there. Those who say to you, we're going to stay on course. We're going to show what the church teaches. We're going to teach everything from the Gospels. But because we are not true captains, we cannot repair the hull. But don't worry. Yes, you're listing. Yes, you're sinking. But we will hope that we can get you to the harbor before you completely sink and are lost. Which one are you going to trust to bring you safely to the harbor? That question will be determined, the answer to that question will be determined who you put your soul in the hands of to get you safely to heaven. And one more thing. During the French Revolution, those who were in the cities, in the fine cathedrals, in the indulged parishes, those men, for the most part, abdicated against the throne of Christ because the proponents of the French Revolution threatened to overthrow them, to overthrow this authority. But it was in the countryside, in the Vendée, that those simple country priests with those simple peasant country people fought, and fought valiantly. They didn't have the fine uniforms and the fine training and the fine weapons, but they had the faith. And they fought and they did die. But they fought to the end for Christ and his church under the leadership of those simple country priests who did not compromise the faith and would not compromise the faith. St. Michael's here in Windsor is a simple country parish, and I am a simple country bishop. If you want to analogously smoke fine cigars and drink fine cognac and know all the details about it so that you can argue that, then this is not the ship. I am not the captain to guide this ship to the safe harbor. If you do not think that one needs to have authority to repair, to redeem all of the things that the world is going to bring against you, if you think you can get there simply by faith, but you don't have to put works, contrary to Scripture that said faith without works is dead, if you have faith without works, you will be dead. You will not make it to the harbor. You will sink to the bottom of the ocean. So please consider this. Think about it. God bless you and keep the faith.